right. I am delighted to see everyone this morning. Thank you so much for everyone's flexibility during this Arctic cold week that has really changed everybody's schedules. I'm delighted to see everyone joining us here today. I would also like to send a very special thank you to several people in our group who worked tirelessly this past week to make this day happen and to essentially pivot our event on a dime. Dr. Suhana Chattopadhyay, if you could please stand. Thank you so much. And Dr. Heidi Scott, thank you so much, Heidi. And Maurice Rock in the back. Thank you so much, Maurice. And thank you also to our speakers and our moderators, the organizers here at the Stamp, and our caterers at Good Tidings who were so flexible and able to work with us to move the day of our event. We are so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. So at this time, I'm delighted to introduce and warmly welcome our first speaker who will provide opening remarks, President Darryll J. Pines, the President of the University of Maryland and the Glenn L. Martin Professor of Aerospace Engineering. Thanks so much.
Good morning, everyone. And how about a round of applause for our leader, Amy Sapkota. Thank you for your leadership and all that you've done to create this incredible Global FEWture Alliance. First of all and foremost, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2024. Let's do more in 2024 than we did in 2023, right? For those of you who are new to the University of Maryland, welcome to the University of Maryland. It's an honor to be with such distinguished individuals to work on such an important global challenge. You know, the origin of the Alliance and today's gathering really goes back to the beginning, believe it or not, of my presidency, even though I've been at University of Maryland for about 30 years. And if you all remember, I don't want you ever to forget the year of 2020. And as you reflect on what happened in 2020, which first born out of, and like Dean Boris Lushniak used to tell me, it's sort of 3 pandemics, and he uses the term syndemic. So the pandemic, of course, of the virus, the social injustice of May 20th, 2020 of George Floyd, and the uncertainty in our election system. And as I was coming into the presidency in partnership with the other cabinet leaders and the deans of the colleges, it caused an opportunity for all of us in higher education to say, you know, what is our role? All of you are more than just thought leaders or scholars. You are hope for the world, for the nation. And for those of you who are in the state of Maryland, for the state of Maryland. It was a turbulent time, 2020. It was a difficult time. All of you survived it. We all survived it. It was a time when we faced down not only the worldwide public health threat of COVID-19, but also economic, social, and racial injustice that left deep scars in this country and in some cases around the world. But it was also a time for all of us to, especially in higher education, to simply just reassess what is important to what you're doing while you have such a short time on the planet. Where we should do better, where we should put our resources and your talents to, where we should apply all of that bent up energy you had during 2020 because you couldn't get out of your house. You were frustrated. You couldn't talk to people in person. You couldn't do what you really wanted to do. You remember that? I don't want you to ever forget those time periods. I want to let you get the fear that you had, that you thought the society was going to end. Fortunately, it didn't, but it revealed a lot of problems, especially energy, food, water. And for me, it was also a moment of reflection about what was important for our university and what we wanted to do as a university going forward. It is clear that as a land-grant public research institution, we had all of the experts and visionaries, which are also in this room, who could make sure that the next generation could see some progress on these problems facing the world, that you would help with that. So through what we called a Grand Challenge grants program across the entire university, led by Provost Rice, who you will hear from her after me. The University of Maryland put out this call for proposals that would address the issues of the day and of the future, including things like climate change, social injustice, global health, and education disparities and health disparities. We wanted to challenge our faculty, our staff, and our students to work on the most relevant problems that are affecting real people around the world. We received hundreds, and I don't even remember the number, but I know Provost Rice knows the number to a T, hundreds of proposals. And while dozens of projects across our campus have received support, there were 3 projects or proposals that rose to the top. This was one of them, led by Amy and all of you, addressing global futures, energy, water, and food nexus. It is clear that from all the scientific and anecdotal evidence that we live in a world that is changing rapidly and in alarming ways. Studies have put forth in 2023 as the hottest year on record for the planet. And we keep saying that like every year. This year is the hottest year. I hope 2024 actually isn't going to be the hottest year above 2023, but I know it is. With all the days averaging more than 1 degree warmer than the previous period. Some estimates have even put those temperatures as the highest in at least the last 100,000 years on the planet. But this is not a time for despair. This is still a time for hope and for action. Explorer and environmental activist Robert Swan once said that the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. You are the someone else. There isn't a someone else. You are the someone else. Don't look to someone else to solve the grand challenge. You solve it. So we know that we can't wait for those other people. We are those other people. You are those other people. By nature, I'm a naturally optimistic person. And I'm also an engineer by training. So I look at all of these problems as problems that have a solution. And through that lens. So I am confident through the dedication, ingenuity, and selflessness of the people attending this symposium and are a part of this alliance are up to the task to work on this truly grand challenge project called the Global Futures Alliance. The solutions that you come up with will be practical, some will lead to great scholarship, but most importantly, it will be translatable to the lives of real people on the planet. And I want you to remember that the work you're doing are going to affect real lives. It's not just going to be another dissertation on the wall on your shelf of your office. It's going to actually get implemented. It's going to get executed because we're going to translate it to real people. You know, we are lucky in the United States that many of us can take for granted simple things like faucets and pour out clean water every day, just like the plastic bottles that you're creating non-sustainable waste, but that's a different issue. I'm not picking on you, I just noticed it. But we take these things for granted in the United States because we all have it. And, you know, let me just, you already know these little simple statistics, but I want to reiterate them, right? So 1 billion people on the planet suffer from hunger, right? Another billion people don't have electricity. And over 2 billion people don't have potable, clean water on a planet that has roughly over 8 billion people headed towards 9 billion. So I am excited to see all of you today. Thank you for readjusting your schedules. You're a diverse group involved in this alliance, including incredible partners and guests from around the world. So I just want to acknowledge some of those. The Arava Institute for Environmental Studies and Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a partner. Thank you for the good work that you do. The Kathmandu University and Duliko Hospital and Sanskriti Farms and Research Center out of Nepal, thank you if you are here and partnering with University of Maryland on this incredible project. The Mbeya University of Science and Technology in Tanzania, thank you for your partnership out of the continent of Africa and from Tanzania. And finally, Cultivate an Israeli-based not-for-profit working in Tanzania and other Eastern African countries on these very important issues at the nexus of energy, water, and food. Today's symposium will be a great way to review, collaborate, build partnerships, establish stronger relationships, and work on this very important grand challenge. From harvesting rainwater in urban agriculture and developing early warning systems for food and waterborne disease to crafting experiential educational programs that will develop the next generation of environmental leaders, there's a lot for all of you to consider, discuss, and learn, and no better place than start right today here at the University of Maryland. So I want to share a personal story with you. When I was a dean of engineering about 11 years ago, in engineering across the United States and across the world is an organization called Engineers Without Borders. It does all kinds of projects across all many different countries and villages. And I had the privilege to go to one of our projects. The project was in Sierra Leone. And if you don't know Sierra Leone, it's one of the poorest countries on the planet. Very low quality infrastructure. And we decided to partner with a graduate from the School of Public Health at the University of Maryland, who happened to be a former football player in the NFL who came from a village called Kazatown outside of Freetown, Sierra Leone. And he had one goal. He grew up in this town. His mother was a school teacher. The children didn't have a schoolhouse to study in. The children were not getting educated who were of the same age as elementary and middle school kids here in the United States. They didn't have a school house. They didn't have learning materials. They didn't have clean water. They didn't have electricity. And the poor kids were working every day in the farms and the hillsides of Sierra Leone. So we embarked on a project and a journey to build a schoolhouse, provide electricity, and provide clean water. And believe it or not, even through a satellite system, provide the internet. I had nothing to do with any of this, but my colleagues in the College of Engineering said, hey, you should go to Sierra Leone and see what we've accomplished. I said, okay, I'm gonna go. So I went in 2013, in August of 2013, with another colleague. I'd never been to Sierra Leone. I'd been to other countries in Africa. So I go there, and it turns out we have some conflicts with travel. And so like I always like to say, things don't happen on the hour in Africa, they happen when they happen. And so we finally get to the school, and it was on a Sunday, a day off for all the citizens. We show up to the school, and we were just there to meet the headmaster and hear like, what have we accomplished? And surprising to us, all of the parents of the kids had shown up to the school ahead of us. And they had been waiting for us for 2 hours because we were delayed by our travel by 2 hours. They had waited for us. They had walked to the school for miles to wait for us to do one thing, to thank us. I was overwhelmed. I did not expect that. I go in there, and the family members are crying. I'm like, to the headmaster, why are they crying? And he said, because Friday, they found out that all the kids had passed the national English and math exam for the first time in their lives. And they just wanted to say thank you. So I tell you that story because that's the kind of impact you're going to have. So I thank you. I wish you the best. Amy, congratulations, and enjoy today's ceremony. And please remember what you're working for. Remember that story I just told you, because you're working for those people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Pines, for those inspiring remarks. And again, thank you so much for changing your schedule to be here with us today. I would now like to warmly welcome our Senior Vice President and Provost, Dr. Jennifer King-Rice.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to welcome you all to the University of Maryland and to the Global Future Alliance Annual Symposium. This is a really great morning to be celebrating our resolve to make this kind of difference in our society, in our world. And I'm so happy to be part of this milestone event. And I also want to thank you all for adjusting your schedules to be here today. You know, we just heard about global warming. It's very real despite the temperatures outside this morning. It doesn't feel like global warming today at all. But we are likely to get more weather. And we really didn't want that to compromise this coming together in person to kick off this really important project here at our university. I want to thank President Pines for your inspiring words, as always. I couldn't agree more that higher education, and specifically that the University of Maryland, is the perfect place for this kind of work to start, this really meaningful, impactful work that has the promise of affecting lives locally and globally in many ways through research as well as through the actions that you're going to put in place. I also want to thank Dr. Amy Sapkota for your incredible leadership, and to the entire Global FEWture Alliance team. What makes this work important is the coming together of all of you to do it collaboratively. The work that you're doing through partnership is going to make a difference, and part of that difference comes from the collaborative nature of the work. So I want to also thank all of the project partners who are here to collaborate and to drive the Alliance's work forward. So welcome, and thank you so much for being here. And I also want to thank Dean Boris Lushniak for his incredible leadership of the School of Public Health and the meaningful work that's happening there every day. So thank you, Dean Lushniak. So here at the University of Maryland, our work, almost everything we do, is grounded in our unwavering pursuit of excellence and impact for the public good. And I'm going to say that one more time: excellence and impact for the public good. That is what we are all about. And in fact, the basis of our strategic plan, which we call Fearlessly Forward, is just that, is excellence and impact for public good. This is a plan that boldly reimagines what our university, and I would argue what higher education across the country, must be to uphold and expand our mission to serve humanity in really meaningful ways. Again, through our scholarship, through our teaching, and through our community service. As provost, it's my job, and it's also really a privilege to guide the implementation of that plan. And that really involves moving forward, helping to lead our community to move forward what we agreed on as 4 strategic commitments: to reimagine learning, to take on humanity's grand challenges, to invest in people and communities, and to partner to advance the public good. Now, we've launched a number of strategic initiatives. Many of them advance 1 or 2, and some even advance 3 of these strategic commitments. But those initiatives that are truly transformative, the ones that take on all 4 of those commitments all at once, those are the initiatives that we know are going to be critical in helping us to achieve our ambitious visions to really improve the lives of every person on Earth. That's a pretty ambitious goal, to improve the lives of every person on Earth. But it's those initiatives that wrap around all 4 of our commitments, that reflect all 4 of those commitments, that have the greatest promise of doing that. And I think it's very clear that the Global FEWture Alliance is one of those initiatives. It reflects all 4 of our commitments. It's driven by a diverse and interdisciplinary team that's committed to fostering experiential learning for our students so that the next generation is prepared to engage in this interdisciplinary work focused on real challenges. The collaborative nature, the way we're teaching our students to engage in those cross-disciplinary collaborations is so critical to that. And it's inspiring to see how this project, this singular project, brings together experts from diverse fields like environmental health science, public health, agriculture and natural resources, engineering, and community development. So the Alliance's cross-disciplinary collaboration truly reimagines learning as a holistic experience that transcends our traditional academic boundaries. The Alliance is also very committed to advancing the public good. It's evident in the collaborative research to action projects that involve public and private sectors, leveraging a range of expertise to address complex challenges affecting our global communities. And the interdisciplinary nature of the Alliance's team reflects a commitment to really investing in both individuals and communities alike. By integrating diverse perspectives from academia and community leaders and from diverse countries with different knowledge sets and environmental challenges, the Alliance's comprehensive understanding of the intricate issues facing global communities is essential to advancing this work and making a difference. And as we all know, one of the things that makes grand challenges so grand is that they can't be solved by one person or one field or one sector alone. The Global Future Alliance is uniquely positioned to tackle humanity's grand challenges by leveraging the collective expertise and experience that it's bringing together through this collaborative and interdisciplinary team. We know that human life cannot be sustained on our planet without access to safe and nutritious food, clean water, and clean energy sources. The Alliance collectively and simultaneously addresses all three of these intertwined grand challenges, brings them together into one central challenge that we're taking on. And as I look at this audience of local and global collaborators who contribute knowledge from so many complementary sectors and fields, I really feel like we're taking big steps toward realizing a new paradigm in higher education. Integrating research and capacity building and experiential learning for our students accelerates our university's impact, enabling our faculty, our staff, our students, and our partners to have an immediate, long-term, and truly meaningful impact on critical challenges of our time. So I am really excited about the potential of this alliance to realize transformative food, energy, and water solutions that bolster climate resilience and protect public health. And I'm so glad you're all here. I hope you celebrate this day as you talk about your work, which is dedicated to game-changing ideas, exciting new partnerships, all in the pursuit of advancing the public good. So thank you, stay warm, and enjoy your time together today.
Thank you so much, Provost Rice, for your support and those wonderful remarks. All right, our next opening remarks speaker is on Zoom. So let me just stop sharing here. Okay. Okay, now I am honored to welcome remarks from Mr. Ganesh Shah. Mr. Shah is the ex-Minister of the Environment of the Government of Nepal and the current Chief Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda. Welcome, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Professor Amy. Respected President Pines and our friends who are sitting in this program. First of all, I'd like to thank for giving me this opportunity to speak few words to this August gathering. First of all, we will be solving one of the most global challenges the humanity is facing today. Everybody in the world needs food, energy, and water for their livelihood. So we say all the time, the world will celebrate the day, whole world, when nobody will sleep hungry in the world. As our president already told about the statistics that how much more than 1 billion population is living in the chronic hunger. 2 billion population don't have the access to the clean water and sanitation. More than 700 million people don't have the access to the energy. In these alarming situations, the University of Maryland, in collaboration with other universities of the world, from Nepal, Kathmandu University, from Israel and Tanzania, you are doing a marvelous job for which the humanity will remember you in the future days. I was sitting and listening, and you're thinking that might be somebody you will be the Nobel Prize winners, somebody in the field of the food, somebody field in the energy, somebody in the field of the water. At the same time, as all of you know, that recently the COP28 was held in the Dubai. As our president rightly told, this year was the hottest year in the whole humanity. So now for the to all solve all these problems, we have to act and work with the very smart. That means we have to put our scientific knowledge, have the innovative ideas, and with the localized experiences also. As this is a very complicated and interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary study agriculture. Scientists only know about the agricultures, less about the water, or might be for the energy. But now, for this, we have to know what are the diseases coming in our food systems, how you are going to give the world with the renewable energy, because the renewable energy is very, very important for us. At the same time, all of you know that the water is the very scarce resources. So water reduce, how you are going to produce more food with the less water and with the less energy. So this is a big scientific engineering and challenges. And for that, I think the Global Future Alliance will be able to solve all these problems. So I first of all congratulate all these teams and wish them all the best, as it is interdisciplinary. At the same time, it is intercontinental, because you're working in the Asia, you're working in the Africa, Europe, and the America. So the local culture, because the every country has its own traditional knowledge about this, all these things, you see, about the water conservation, energy, food productions, you see. So localize the scientific knowledge with the community is also very, very important, for which you are working our country. So on behalf of the Prime Minister of Nepal, from myself, I would like to thank the University of Maryland for giving this opportunity, as you are doing in Nepal, such a very nice job for us. Now, I will lastly say a few words about the Nepal initiatives in this food, agriculture, and energy sectors. I love to know that Nepal government had adopted a 20 years agriculture development strategy, what we normally call it the ADS, which I adopted about 8 years before. And that strategy is also giving emphasis on the climate smart agriculture. After that, we have a PPCR project which gives a very early warning systems to the farmers, which is known as how we are giving the disseminating the weather forecastings for our farmers. Our weather forecasting is also increased in the new days. At the same time, Nepal government has a water plan, which we want to use where the priorities for the drinking water, irrigation, and the energy. Lastly, we have a very ambitious plan, especially from the climate change perspective, which is known as the NDC, Nationally Determined Contributions. We are going to develop much more energy, not only for ourselves, but for our neighboring country, for the India. As you know, Nepal is the water tower of the Asia. Its water is not only for Nepal, but on our water tower, more than 70 billion population of the India is dependent also. So as our president rightly said, the urbanization, the rainwater harvesting, we are very hard working on the rainwater harvesting. Recently, the team who came from the Maryland, Reena and Lena, I think we have talked to them about our rainwater harvesting, because every drops of water is important for the humanity. We say whatever you eat is a virtual water. It is a virtual energy. So now all global leaders are talking about what is your carbon footprint, what is your water footprints. So let us hope that this program, which is known as the Global Future Alliance, will solve a lot of problems of the food, energy, water. At the same time, you talked about our climate change issues. and the health issues, you see. As we have fought our corona also, so in the coming disease, whatever the disease will be coming, and because the planet is one now, so one planet health is also very, very important. So I thank you again for giving me this opportunity to join you, to listen you, and in the future we'll be collaborating more and more from all perspective, whether it's scientific perspective, with the political levels, policy making, from government to government, from the other university to academia to university, academia, business to business, all the sectors where it will be necessary. I think we will be all the time ready to collaborate, to cooperate with you in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Shaw. And again, thank you so much for your flexibility, and we are so grateful for your support. I would now like to invite Dean Boris Lushniak, the Dean of the University of Maryland School of Public Health, which is the administrative home of the Global FEWture Alliance, to provide our final opening remarks. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Amy. And I've already gotten the okay from Amy. We are running a little bit behind schedule, but she said, say what you want to say. You know, my angle on this is what? First of all, a thank you. I know the president and the provost had to leave, but it's so cool that they're able to change their schedules, much like all of you did on short notice to be here. That's dedication. Dedication from all of you, dedication from the organizers. I don't know how they did this successfully, but also dedication from the leadership of this university. They wanted to be here because this and you are important. Now, since Amy gave me the ability to keep up with my 5 minutes, and she said she'll shorten her portion, so don't worry, we'll get back on track. My angle on this is a public health person, right? So right now, we're actually going to have a short exercise. We've been through this several times before at the School of Public Health, but those of you who are visitors, I'm going to ask you all to stand and stretch and move a little bit, right? As you are able, this is kind of good to have those breaks, right? Stretch, make that body feel good. Doesn't that feel good in the midst of a conference to have the ability to do that? And we actually welcome you throughout this day to do this spontaneously. It's okay in a public health setting. Now I'm going to ask you to turn to people around you and greet them. Say hello, say good morning. There could be embraces, there could be hugs, there could be fist bumps. Do whatever you like to do. Introduce yourselves. And now as we go through that, I'm going to ask you back to your seats. I'm going to ask you to quiet down for a second, to close your eyes, and think about how special this moment is. Big, deep breath in, breath out. Big, deep breath in. Fill up those lungs and out. Think about how blessed we're here today to be together at this important alliance, and how this day will make a difference. Now open up your eyes. What we just experienced here is the World Health Organization definition of health. That definition says what? It's complete. That is aspirational. But the alliance's work is also aspirational. We're trying to change the world. So let's start off with this idea of being filled with the spirit of aspiration. Back to the definition. Health is complete. Physical, we moved around. Mental, we eased our minds. And social, right? Complete physical, mental, and social health. Well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. I'm going to tie that world of health into public health, because you are all, no matter what, I know this is an interdisciplinary meeting. That's the beauty of us gathering together. But no matter what angle you're coming from, what world you're coming from, you are now all, by the act of the Dean of the University of Maryland School of Public Health, you are now public health people. So my favorite definition of public health comes from over a century ago. C.E.A. Winslow said, And I'll paraphrase because I threw this into the 3 Ps I talk about often. It's about promoting health and well-being. It's about preventing disease, injury, death, with the ultimate goal of prolonging a high quality of life. And if you think about the work of the Alliance, the aspirational components to change the health of the planet, to change the health of the world, the community, to change the health of individuals, preventing, promoting, prolonging. You are all public health people. Let's go back to the title of this, inaugural, right? Inaugural is really good. It's a beginning. It's not to say that we're now starting from scratch. We are all coming from all angles, having had successes at all sorts of different levels. And now we're combining. Inaugural alliance denotes the ability for us to say, hi, I'm new here, or hi, old friend, isn't it cool we're working together again? Alliance, allies, coming together. Global. It's not just about College Park, Maryland. It's not about the state of Maryland. It's not about the region. It's not about our nation. It's about the planet. It's about the One Health approach. It's about the triangulation of human health, animal health, planetary health. This is an incredible undertaking. And of course, the food, energy, and water nexus in that title reminds us of what we are working on. Let me remind you that this fits in perfectly with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And almost all the goals are fulfilled here. If we look at goal number 2, zero hunger. Goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. Goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. The United Nations has said these are priorities, sustainable development goals, and we are working on them. But beyond that, I'm not going to list all the goals, but look at all the others that apply as well. No poverty, good health and well-being, quality education, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, partnerships for the goals. And that goal number 17, partnerships for the goals. We are exhibiting that here in this room, here now, here today. As the Dean of the School of Public Health, I'm proud to be the center of these activities on this campus. I'm proud to embrace all the partners on this campus. I'm proud to embrace all the partners who come to us from various parts of the world, as we've seen. We bring together the aspects of research, capacity building, education, and yes, I dare say, service to others. Thank you all for being here. I am so excited that we are beginning this inaugural approach to the aspiration of changing the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Sapkota.
Thank you so much, Dean Lushniak. I'm so happy that you were able to change your schedule to be here with us today. All right, so we are going to morph into the scientific session aspect of our program. Before we start with session 1, I'm going to do a very brief overview of the Alliance, just so that we can get back on schedule. So let me go ahead and share my slides. So I'm going to make this brief, but I do think it's very important for us to all get on the same page and really have a good idea of what we're talking about when we're talking about the Global FEWture Alliance. So in these brief remarks, I'll just give a summary of the Alliance and then summarize our goals for our symposium today. So each of our opening speakers have discussed these numbers. Let me hide this. Oh, it's okay if it's there. So we have billions of individuals across the planet who suffer from food, energy, and water insecurity. And unfortunately, it is underserved communities that are suffering the most disproportionate impacts. Climate change is only making things worse in many cases. So what we have traditionally done in the past is we've often taken a more disciplinary approach to address these issues. So we've had a water-focused project or a food-focused project or an energy-focused project. But here in the Alliance, our perspective is that if we really want to have sustainable solutions over time, we really have to have solutions that are interconnected across food, energy, water systems, because these systems are so highly interrelated. So just to give you a sense of this, if we look at the food-water interconnections, so on our planet, 70% of our freshwater reserves go towards agricultural irrigation. And on the other hand, agriculture is one of our biggest polluters of our freshwater resources. If we look at the examples between water and energy intersections, we need water for almost every energy production process. And on the other hand, for any water treatment and distribution process, we require energy. So you can see how highly interrelated food, energy, water systems are. So if we want lasting sustainable solutions, we really can't look at these systems independently. We really have to approach them as an interconnected whole. So this is the grand challenge that the Global Future Alliance is addressing. With our incredible interdisciplinary team, we hope to alleviate food, energy, and water insecurity. We want to protect environmental and global public health, and also overall bolster community resilience as our climate continues to change. So we're just getting started. You know, we're in sort of month number 9. So we're beginning relatively small. We're focusing on relatively few geographical areas. We're focusing our work here in the state of Maryland, in Israel, in Tanzania, and Nepal. And what we think is unique about our approach is we really have a 3-pronged approach where we are integrating systems-based interdisciplinary research to action with community-driven capacity building and experiential undergraduate and graduate education. So what does this mean? You know, President Pines alluded to this. We're not just doing research as a typical academician where we interpret our data, we publish it in the peer-reviewed literature, and oftentimes it's read by maybe only a handful of folks. We want our research to be impactful, to be meaningful, to be translated into perhaps technology-based innovations or policy-based solutions that can actually impact real lives. And we need to do this in the short term. So that's what we're talking about with research to action. But you can't have research alone. It needs to be integrated with capacity building, with education, so that we can carry these solutions on into the future. And that's what we are all about here with the Global Future Alliance. As I mentioned also earlier, we're not just about doing independent water, food, or energy projects. Each project or program that we are working on, whether that's here in the state of Maryland or in Tanzania or in Nepal, we will integrate across those systems. So let's say we have a project on the ground in Nepal where we are innovating around a water reuse activity, along with a horticultural innovation, as well as a renewable energy technology, bringing all 3 of those together. And as the Provost mentioned in her remarks, we are really proud that I think we are indeed addressing each of these 4 pillars of the University of Maryland Strategic Plan. So just to provide an overview of our team leaders, we really have an ecosystem of shared leadership across the Alliance. Here at the University of Maryland, we have 7 UMD schools and colleges, including the School of Public Health, Ag and Natural Resources, Architecture, Arts and Humanities, Behavioral and Social Sciences, our College of Mathematical and Natural Sciences, and our School of Engineering. We're bringing everybody together because this is an all hands on deck approach. This is what's needed to solve these greatest challenges of our time. We are thrilled to have our partners here from 7 international institutions to date. You know, stay tuned. We will be opening up and bringing in additional partners in the future. We have the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Cultivate, the Arava Institute, Sanskriti Farms and Research Center, and Mbeya University of Science and Technology. All right. But in addition to how we're integrating across the food, energy, water nexus, how we're integrating across research, capacity building, and education, it all starts with communities. It all starts with our stakeholders. This is a really stakeholder, community-driven program and alliance. We first start with needs assessments in the communities that we're working with to understand what are the solutions that are needed right then and there. That's how we build and wrap around our research, capacity building, and education. It all starts with communities. In terms of our organizational structure, Our administrative core is here at the University of Maryland. We carry out our project management, our communications, our fundraising, our evaluation, and reporting. But we're also brought together by our research and capacity building core and our education and outreach core. And this is where you can really see that shared leadership across the Alliance. So in our research and capacity building core, we have 2 leaders in each of our geographic areas. Here in Maryland, we have 2 University of Maryland co-project investigators. And in each of our international geographic locations, we have 1 University of Maryland investigator leading the project, as well as an in-country investigator. Our experiential education and outreach core is then an umbrella organization within our Alliance across all of our geographic areas. So we are integrating our educational approaches across each university that we're working with. Just as an example, and you'll hear more about this today, we had our global classroom that was focused on food and water issues run this fall. And we had students from the University of Maryland, from Kathmandu University, from Mbeya University of Science and Technology, and from Hebrew University of Jerusalem, all learning together in the same space. That's what we're really about. We're about partnerships and we're about integration. So again, I'm so delighted that you are all here today. We have a wonderful day planned. Just to touch on some of the goals that we hope to accomplish today, we want to highlight the accomplishments of our new and growing Alliance. We want to expand our partnerships. So we have folks that are not yet engaged, but want to be engaged in the Alliance here today to share their research that is very synergistic with the growing Alliance. And again, it's about partnership. How do we build our partnerships so that we accelerate our impact? How do we have impact on real lives today? So again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Stephanie Lansing to the podium, and we'll be starting our session 1. So if our speakers for session 1 could please join us on the podium.